Okay. What's up, y'all? We live. What's up, Knight?
Hey, everybody. This is Real Brothers for the real world. Welcome to our digital neighborhood. We got a special guest host on with us today.
Yo.
That's my man E, the Poet MC, and that's my bro Stacy. And we got a good show for y'all tonight. Everybody, we're glad to have you tune in. And Stace, tell us what we got on deck.
Yo, what's up? What's up, everybody? E, what's up, man? You know what? I thought about it. Not much, man. We had to bring you back on. And now when I realized you was gonna be on, now I know why I didn't drink anything. Because if you notice the commercial we put up there last time you were up here, you threw something at us and you threw me and Terry for a loop. So I didn't drink, so I could come to this with a clear mind, man.
You gotta be clear, brother. You gotta be
clear, man. All right. So what's up, y'all? Welcome to the Real Brothers. Welcome to the digital neighborhood. We got a couple topics. I'm gonna list them out here, and then after that, we're gonna move on to our randoms. Topics are as listed. Are job applicants, are job candidates still being penalized for having quote unquote ghetto names? Who actually has the power? Snitching versus reporting, and some of the further effects of COVID. All right, but before we go on, E, as the guest host for today, do you have a random that you wanted to float out there?
No, brother. I'm here to rock with y'all, brother. I don't have a random thought. You got a random thought?
All right. I did.
Yeah. Do you?
I did. I lost it though. And
why are you thinking of it? I got while I'm on it real quick. Let me. You know what? I'm not prepared. I got a random though. All right. You know what? I'm gonna see if I can get through it without having to have written it down.
Okay.
So this is a random thought and this is because I have this conversation with people a lot online, and what the conversation is like a lot of the times when we talk about white privilege. Some people don't that have white privilege. They really don't understand when we say white privilege, because they're immersed in it, so they don't understand what it's like not to have white privilege, or what white privilege is, right? So they always people that I engage always say stuff like, well, you guys got affirmative action, and you guys got all these special programs, and you guys got this, and you guys got that. But what I try to let them know is when we talk about white privilege, we are talking about the system that was constructed for the benefit of white people and building white wealth, right? So I try to explain it, and kind of like a game of Monopoly, right? So just imagine you're playing a game of Monopoly, right? And the people that was already playing, they won't let you play, right? So they're playing. They won't even let you read the rules or anything. So they're playing, they're going around the board, and they're buying up all the property, and they're making all the money. And then 400 years later, oh, actually, 100 and something years later, they say, okay, well, we're gonna let you play now, right? We're gonna free you and let you play. But then they put us in, go straight to jail, and then we got to skip all these turns. Still, we playing, but we in jail, right? So then we actually get to play, and then once we get to go around the board, we don't have no money, we don't have no property. We just going around the board, and every piece, every spot we land on, we owe somebody else. We owe somebody else because we don't own anything. And then the game, gameplay. I'm sorry, but the game players, they start to get mad because now we don't want to play no more. So we like, fuck it, we flip the game over. That's white privilege. That's in a nutshell. That's the way I see. That's my opinion, personal opinion about white privilege. I don't know if I explained that, where people can understand, but that's the best relationship that I could give it to make it, understandable.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's that head start, and I do think that people do struggle if that's like that's almost like someone trying to imagine what it's like being white. One of us trying to imagine what it's like being white. We're black and we live black, so that's what we know. Now, unfortunately, unfortunately for us, as folk, all too often the fact that we are black, those negative, the fact that the cards are stacked against us coming out the gate. But man, I agree that's a good analogy. Did you have a thought, E?
Yeah, I mean, it's an excellent way to explain white privilege, but it also explains the attempts of affirmative action and quote unquote set asides for so-called minorities. I say so-called because melanated people outnumber white people on the planet 11-1. So we're not necessarily, we may be a smaller population inside of America, but these are imaginary lines. I think about the globe, we outnumber them 11-1. But put that to the side. The whole attempt is, if you look at it like the game of Monopoly, if somebody's been sitting on the sideline watching somebody amass wealth, amass property for 4 or 5 games,
right,
and then it's like, okay, y'all can get in the game. What affirmative action is supposed to do is an attempt to kind of get you caught up in the game. So, if I get into the game that y'all are playing, like you already got all the green properties, he already got all the yellow properties.
You got hotels all over the joint.
And all that's left is some purple shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Right.
And then they think
you're like, come on, you can play. I'm like, am I really playing?
For 400 years.
You be like, no, I'm gonna get you caught up here. Here's $200 in Baltic Avenue. That's what affirmative action did. It was an attempt to recognize the fact that the game has already started, that I'm lagging behind in.
Right.
So what affirmative action actually is you just gave me Baltic Avenue. And then you get mad because I'm starting to bust your ass with just Baltic Avenue.
That's right. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Now
then you want to try to take more from me. So then you're going to overtax, you're going to
flip the game,
put someone on a chance card.
This thing over. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Because the only way to actually catch up in the game is we have to start this thing over. And white people ain't going to ever try to start the game over. So here we are.
But there is a way that we could start it over, and that's called reparations. If we got reparations, if we got the reparations that we were owed, I would consider the debt. I would consider the debt paid in full. If we didn't have to pay taxes,
that's a high bar though, Nike. I mean, you talking about paid in full, talking about equalizing everything. Go ahead.
Yeah, just be clear on what you're saying, because you said the key word. It's an impossibility to give us the reparations that's owed.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say.
Because what's actually owed would have to be the whole fucking country.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because if you not paid in full.
Right. If you use generations, think about that. If you by yourself, Knight, if you live to be 100 years old,
right,
and somebody was able to keep you working for them and not pay you in 100 years. If I got 100 years of labor out of you,
right,
you know how rich that'll make me.
Right.
And again, picture you multiplied by hundreds of thousands of people.
Right.
And
then
that's
just like
talk about not just you working, but your kids, your grandkids, your great grandkids. Talking about generations of people working. You can't even begin to calculate the numbers of what's owed. So reparations actually means, by definition, to actually repair the damage that has been done. It's an impossibility.
It's an impossibility.
So
Again, it's another gesture.
In the name of reparations.
It's another
but it's
gesture.
still not going to be enough.
Right. No, it's
So,
not.
And one thing
it won't equalize it, but it's still a good a gesture. You know, it's a gesture.
And with the lawsuit that we plan on, filing, we're talking about, so 400 years times 10 billion, we're looking at 400 trillion or $4 trillion that the government owes us. And check out the formula on RealBrosLive, RealBrosLive.com/Black Dollar Blackout. I got it all laid out. Everybody else got reparations. Indians got reparations. Jewish people got reparations.
When did Indians get reparations?
Japanese got reparations. Huh?
When did Indians when did Indians get?
Indians got a whole bunch of reparations.
What you mean reparations?
The Eskimos. Hey, wait, hold. I'm gonna share the screen with you. Let me see
All
if
right,
I can.
wait. Let's go. Let's get started on the topics. We got all right, we kind of veering off. All right. So
you know that's my shit. We get
we got the topics. All right, E. We coming to you, man. Which one do you want to address first, man?
Whichever, brother. I'm here for the ride, brother. You pick it.
All right, which one, Nike? Where we gonna start, man?
All right, since we was on my shit, let's go to that.
Who actually has the power? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, go to that.
Who actually has the power?
Okay, all right. What are your thoughts then, Nike? Who actually has the power? Do I really need to ask? But go ahead.
In my opinion, the bankers of there's 4 banks that world banks that holds the interests of different corporate or different governments. Actually, you don't have no money. He said, "I don't have no money."
No.
All right, yeah, no, but the Rothschilds, the Bilderberg Group. Those are the people that actually run those billionaires that actually run the country. The media moguls, like Rupert Murdoch, like what's the dude, Rockefellers. Those are the guys that run the country behind the scenes, because they run the country through donations and lobbying. So we're not represented in the government like we think we are, right? Mm-hmm. We vote to put people in office, but then once those people get into office, they have to deal with the corporate scrutiny. Like I was watching MSNBC the other day, and it was like for every senator and for every congressman that gets elected to office, they have like 3 lobbyists hitting them at the same time. Like, oh, well, we need this, and we can get you this, and and there's a whole lot of handshaking going back and forth.
So
and that's why.
So Terry, so do you think that if those people / institutions are actually the ones run? I guess a better question is: are you saying they have absolute power, or they strictly, or are you saying that they wield a lot of influence? Which one are you saying?
They wield a lot of influence.
Okay.
And like I said, the president is just the figurehead, right? He's being controlled by the 1%, right? Hello?
Go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead. I mean, I disagree with that, but go ahead.
You do. Who do you think runs the country?
Finish your thought, Nike. Finish your thought.
All right. Yeah. So I think the lobbyists for the corporations and the billionaires, that's who runs the country. That those 1% of people that own everything. Remember, we had the discussion about the 5 corporations that own all of the. It's like an umbrella. So you got 5 corporations at the top. They branch out, and they own all of the media. They own all of the.
Well, I agree with you though when you talk about they wield significant influence. I agree with that. So that you're not going to get any disagreement from me from that. So therefore, what we're saying then is that these lobbying corporations or people wield influence, but they don't make all the laws and call all the shots. But then part of it is also the citizens, the voting citizens also wield some power or influence over politicians as well. We don't, I don't think you're disagreeing with that, because as you just said, those lobbyists wield significant influence, and I agree with that. What are your thoughts, Z?
I mean, because the question said, who has the power? So if those who are trying to manipulate government and the lobbies and media, it seems like if all the energy is geared towards trying to control the people, then that means that the people have the power.
Okay. Okay.
You know, because you wouldn't be so concerned about the people and controlling the people if they didn't have the power. So it's all about right, and half of controlling the people is the people believing that those who govern them have more power than them.
Exactly.
So, you know what I mean? Half media is being used to confuse the people and have us moving around like sheep behind everything that they're telling us. Like, for instance, you know,
and that's why they have the power.
Most of the information about the vid and all that sort of thing is, you know, they're trying to figure out as they go along. They started some of it, you know, all of these things are happening. So, and they change it, what they tell us every other week. So the point being is, it's like if you're solely focused on power being outside of yourself, you know what I'm saying, then that makes you powerless. So I'm not, I don't sit around and worry about whether it's the billionaires controlling the government. I know that they're trying to use, if I got $1 billion, right, I'm not spending up my $1 billion trying to use that to control more people, because that's not a fear of mine. So there's a xenophobia going on amongst the rich to try to maintain whatever control they think they have over the people. And the reason why they on that thing day and night is because they don't really have power over the people.
Exactly. And I think that's where
and when you get to the power of the vote, that's just more control, in my opinion. Because let me finish it.
Okay.
It's like, because like if I tell you the only way that you can control what you eat is to walk through my door with a yellow pencil, and you believe that, you're going to focus all your energy on getting the yellow pencil through the door so that you can eat food. But if you start to sit down for a minute and think, like, there got to be other ways for me to eat food. Now, if he controls what's in the refrigerator and I need the yellow pencil to get in there, okay, I'll utilize that. But I know in actual theory, there's other ways for me to get food other than what he's telling me I got to do to get food. Likewise, you know, for what happens in our lives, we put, the vote is important. But the voting is not.
And I like to say,
let him finish.
The vote is not as important as the powers that be make us believe it is, because we get so caught up in that vote that, because that's what we were told to do, vote in those to govern over you, that we'll make that vote and wonder why our children are not educated. Put in that vote and wonder why we got bad health care.
All right, let me chime in real quick.
There's a user who said,
and I think that is part of their success. They have been successful in making us think that they wield more power than they do, and make us think that voting has no bearing at all. I think that well, first of all, it's not a they. It's not one person sitting up there around a round table laughing at us with a big hammer making rules and stuff.
I agree.
No, it's not like that at all.
Hear me out. I think that folk will get a kick out of hearing us sit here talking about how voting doesn't make a difference.
No one said that.
No. I'm not. No. Listen, I mean, I hear people say it constantly. Why waste your time voting? Voting makes no difference at all. Exactly. But my point is that the people that say that, the same people that they're trying to get power from, those people are happy that they've been able to convince us that voting make a difference, and then they take it a step further, because then they go out there passing laws to make it even more difficult for us to vote. And then the other part of us, the other group of us, are sitting here saying, why vote? Because it makes no difference. I think they love to see it.
Right. I don't know who made this comment here. They have had control, not power. Well, I believe that to a degree, but they have had power because they have control. You get what I'm saying?
No.
Once people recognize the power that they have, then they will have the power. Once they unite and realize they have the power, then we can say we have the power. But right now, as it stands today, they have the power.
Brenda, you gotta mute your background.
Just to reiterate that last point, I just want to make clear that, you know, the conversation has to move beyond, is it that we should vote or we shouldn't vote? It's all of the above. Voting has its place and it is a useful tool, but it becomes a useless tool if you use it ignorantly.
Correct.
If you think that all you have to do is vote in someone as a representative, then the game will always be to put someone in front of you that all you have to do is speak a certain way. Or I like his swag, I'm gonna vote for him.
It's like a puppet pulling strings.
Uneducated people who are not educated about the political process. I say this every voting season. When everybody browbeat the people to run out there and vote, no one spends time in between these elections to make sure people are educated on what our issues are, what are the best issues for the current situations of what we are dealing with, who represent those things. And hell, even if the people are not that informed, those who are informed should be as forthright to say, vote for this person because they represent this, that, and the other, and you need that.
Absolutely.
But everybody I see every year, like, I don't care who you vote for, just vote.
Yeah, no.
And
that's what we should do. Actually, that's what we should do on this show. We should research the politicians in the elections coming up, and we should be prompting our people. Like, okay, you got this guy, you got this guy, you got this guy, you got this guy,
or this girl,
female, or this girl,
or at least,
woman.
or at least, definitely not this person, because look at what they did before.
Exactly.
You know, this person's terrible, and I think this person here just said what E said. The power of the people is potential. If they are not exercising control, they are not in power.
Right.
You know,
so
that's
until we take power from the 1%, they are still in power. But
no.
Here's
See,
another
you just
thing.
added that in there, Nike. That's what we're saying. That is not the case. The 1%, you know, the people actually have the power when they use it.
The people can have the power, Stace.
No,
right now, until we're united, and until we have a bargaining chip or some leverage, then the people have the power. But as it stands right now, we have our power.
We're not powerless, Terry.
Scattered.
We're not.
Nah, I didn't say that's not what I said.
But you said the 1% has the power. So then, does that mean
they do, because we're not?
So do we have any power? Do we have any power?
We got all the power if we want it. If we take it.
Or let me put it to you like this, Knight. The 1% controls that power, right?
Right.
Only because of the actions, your willful action. You have, that's like you having $1 million in your hand.
Right.
Hold up. That's like you having $1 million in your hand. If you didn't buy yourself a house with that $1 million, that don't mean you weren't rich. That means you gave away your $1 million. But you got the power, it's in your hand. You got $1 million in your hand right now. But if you don't believe that that's $1 million, you think it's toilet paper and you flush it down the toilet, that don't mean you weren't rich. You were rich.
Right.
You just misused your riches. Now somebody else has your riches. That's the power that we have.
That's kind of a different scenario. So, because it's like, so if we have the power, right?
Yes.
If we have the power, like you said, and we don't use it, then we don't have the power, because we're forfeiting our power.
You just said,
but you have it. You have the power, though, Nike. You have it. Maybe we're not wielding it as the way that we should, but we're not coming together and doing the right thing with it. But we have the power.
Right. It's
we do
like
when we use it. Right. If we use it, it's there for us to use. It's just like this cup
that
of
means
coffee.
we have it if it's there for us to use.
It's just like this cup of coffee. We have it, but if I don't drink it, it ain't no.
Don't say it don't exist.
It's no good.
But do you have it
though, right?
But do you have it though?
Yeah, I have it.
Okay.
There you go.
That's what
But if
so
I'm
we
not
have
drinking
the
it,
power,
or if
Terry.
I'm not using it, it's just sitting there.
Yeah, I think the other thing for me, the other thing that I refuse, this is something different though. The thing that I refuse to acquiesce on is that we are powerless. I can't wrap my mind around that. And see, but that's what when we're saying that the 1% does this and the 1% controls. That's what you're saying. You're saying that the 1% has all this power and we're down here powerless. And that is not the case, because when we do decide, listen, when we do decide to come together, and we have, changes happen. When we do decide to focus on an issue,
putting words in my mouth. I never said we were powerless.
But that's what it's implying.
I said we have the power, but we don't use it.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's not what you're saying. You were saying the 1% has the power.
Then we
The
agree.
1% has the power right now because we don't use it.
Whoa.
They're using our power. How about that?
They're using our power, right? That means
Right.
we have
They're
it.
using our power. So we have the power.
They don't
I think
have the
they're
They don't have the
We-
power.
we-
It's only 1%. They don't have any
Right.
power.
There you go.
They own everything.
But you know what though?
They don't
Maybe
own
it's a
everything. That's what
maybe
they
it's a
got
matter
us
of
thinking.
perspective. Exactly.
They
And
own
that's their success.
everything.
They
No,
got us
Terry.
to invest in our own powerlessness.
Exactly.
You
Right.
think the 1% is not controlling how you teach yourself, how you the foods you eat? They're not controlling that. They make
Let
it
me ask you guys
difficult
a
for
question.
you.
Correct.
They make it difficult
Right.
for you.
And they can't
And if
make
you go,
do
I can't do
anything.
nothing but eat what they give me, then that's what you're gonna
If
do.
you act like a victim, if you
You're gonna
play
be
the
one.
victim,
That's
you're
it.
gonna
We
be
a
a victim.
victim.
I mean, but
I
that's
gotta
what it
say
is,
we
though.
a
If you're
victim at
saying,
all.
okay,
Hey,
you
listen.
got a house on the hold, let me give
You
you an
keep it.
example. Okay, I'm gonna give an example, then I'm gonna stop talking. You have a house on the block. The person moves next door to you, causing all kinds of ruckus, and you sit here and just wallow with it and say, I can't do anything. They're up 3 o'clock in the morning playing music, and I can't do anything because they have a loud stereo system. But I can't go knock on the door because that's not going to do anything. You're
That ain't even
you're
in the
being a
same
victim.
ballpark,
No,
Stacey.
but
That
Knight,
is a horrible example.
no, but
Not even
the
in the
analogy.
same
No,
stratosphere.
listen, Knight. The analogy is if you choose not to do something for something, if you play the victim, then you are the victim.
But
That's
there's nothing
the
about
analogy.
Power in that statement that you just made.
It
Let me
is.
hold on.
Okay,
Let me ask you guys a question. Let me just ask you guys a question. Do you think that the power, do you think that the power in this country was taken by violence, or do you think that it was just developed that way? Is that just something that just happened? Or do you
Neither
think
one.
neither one?
Go ahead, E. Explain.
I mean,
Yeah, how
I
you
explain
how
it
you figure?
easy. First of all, let's identify what the power is. All right,
1%. Go ahead.
Could we keep making it into these intangibles, right?
1%. The 1%.
No, that's not. We're
That's
talking about
just
power.
a
We're talking about
percentage.
power, right?
We keep talking. That's what I'm saying. That's part of the control mechanism.
Right.
Us believing that the actual power is the will of individuals and human beings, right? That's simple. The inception of this country, yes, it was about establishing, getting the will of the human beings either by killing them or have them move in a direction that you want them to move into by force and violence.
That's
right?
what I just said.
I'm agreeing with that point. Listen to what I'm saying, because you asked the question. You
Right.
said, is the power from violence or did it just by happenstance? I'm identifying power is the will of human beings, right? Anybody that can get human beings to do something
Power.
has control over the power. The actual power is human beings doing something.
And how did they get how did they get black human beings
I already
to do
said
something?
that. I already said
How did they
that.
get Indian
I already
human
said
beings
it.
to do something?
We-
Right, that's
you
what I'm
missing the
saying.
point.
So they
Violence
had the
is-
power.
they
They had
okay.
the power.
Let me know when I can finish my point.
And violence, the power was conceived from violence. And the only way that we can get change, and we talked about this earlier, is through either violence or conflict.
No.
People
No.
are not going to concede power. People are not going to
As I
concede
said,
power.
okay. All right, we're gonna go to E. We're gonna go to E, and then we're gonna move on to the next subject. All right, E, you closing this one down. Go ahead.
I'm just to be clear, again, the actual power, the gun is not the power. The
Right.
guns is the means of controlling the power. Money is not the power. Money is a means of controlling the power. Government is not the power. It's a means of controlling the power. If we buy into the fact that that fiat dollar that used to be backed by gold, it's just a piece of paper. It represented that someone had $1 worth of gold. Now it's just represented by, I'm just saying it's $1 and it got power. And we buy into it because we purchase things with it. It loses its value every day. So the money is not the power. It's not this Illuminati 1% that is the power. These are human beings, just like you are a human being that utilizes everything at its disposal to control the actual power, which is the complicity of the people.
Right.
If the people believe the only way I can get my power back is to have enough guns to fight their guns. They got lasers and helicopters.
I didn't say
We're
guns.
That
moving
ain't
on.
gonna do it. That's one. So the thing is, the way you get your power back systematically, because it was systematically taken from you,
It's
it's
the
going to have
act.
to come back to you
It's the act.
systematically back to you. And
Right.
the
Right.
means how you do it first,
RealBrosLive.com
recognizing what's the power.
/BlackDollarBlackout.
Let me finish it. That the actual power, you already have the power. And most of us, again, what happens in your day-to-day life is not just based on what the government is.
That's
If
right.
your children are not learning what they need to learn,
That's on you.
if you sit back and say, because our school system is fucked up, then how did other people educate their children without a school system?
Right.
You
Right.
can control
Right.
the education of yourself and your children.
That's
You
it's
can
on you.
control the food that goes into your mouth,
Mhm.
other than going to the supermarket and saying these are your only choices.
All right, all right.
You have
On
the
that
power.
note, on that note, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to the next one. All right, now E, we need you to choose, man. We need you to choose. We
So
got
what? I can't see anything.
between these three. I'm gonna read them out.
Okay.
Are job candidates still being penalized for quote unquote ghetto names, snitching versus reporting, and the further effects of COVID? Which one, E? Where we going?
Let's go with the ghetto names, because it's kind of
ghetto
what I'm
names?
talking about.
Okay, all right, okay. So what are your thoughts on that, man?
Who, me?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, quote unquote ghetto names are,
Now, I'm sorry. Let me say this though. This topic came as a result of an article that was out there, and I did put the article in the group chat. So that's why I quoted the entire thing. This whole topic came as a result of an article. My fault, E.
no problem. But even the concept of ghetto names, right, is another tool of trying to get Black people to not have power over themselves. That you're going to hurt your chances. Think about this concept. You're going to hurt your chances of working for someone else if your name identify you as, oh, and that's definitely somebody Black. And that's definitely somebody from the quote unquote hood. Because in the process of us regaining a sense of ourselves, we put together some syllables, and sometimes we make up some names. Sometimes we go get some African names. Sometimes we get some names that other people can't pronounce, but it means something to us. Right. We moved away from Jack, John, and Jill to name our children, which are names that say that we're trying to anglicize ourselves as much as possible to be able to get along in a society. And that hasn't helped us no more than anything else. So
I have a question then.
Right.
And in that article, it said that one of the colleges, some college, and like I said, the article was in the group chat. Some article did a study. They sent out applications with different names, and they used some quote unquote ethnic sounding names. Let's just put it that way. And they found there was a percentage of times that like applications with nothing else different other than the name. The ethnic names,
ghetto names. I get it.
Correct.
So
right. It was like 10% or something like that. And even President Obama, and again, not even this now, none of us are saying that this is right. We're not saying that. We disagree with it, all of us. But is that something that, I mean, how do you take that into consideration? If you know that, this is the question. If you know that naming your kid is going to reduce their chances by 10% of getting that call back, do you not consider that at all? All right, let's go to Terry real quick. Let's go to Terry real quick, then we'll swing back.
Well, in my opinion, you know, I know there's some concern sometimes with the corporate setting when they come across, you know, different names. But just like E's name, you know what I mean? I got respect for E because and the FOI brothers, because Muhammad X wasn't his given. I'm sure that wasn't your given government name. But what I'm saying is you have the stones, let's say.
Absolutely.
To say, you know what I mean?
You know who I'm with.
Fuck that. Who I am. Right.
You hired me. I'm with Farrakhan. Right. You know that.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think that whole thing is bullshit, because These names
Well, I
that
mean, what
we
part
got,
is bullcrap though?
that
Are you
these
saying the
names that-
fact that they do it, or the
yeah,
fact,
the fact that they do it?
Oh, that is. I
Because-
agree with you.
Because
They gonna do
this
it.
name that I got, this ain't my name.
Mm.
Like I'm named after somebody that ain't even my dad.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So like,
Okay.
who knows what the hell my name should be? You get
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I do. I get it. E, what were you about to say though? We didn't get.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's like I don't, and I teach my children the same thing. Like, for instance, like my oldest daughter, right? We gave her two names, right? One for the birth certificate, and one to move out in the world and as her name, and she could mix and bounce and flip however she chose to utilize those names.
So you did consider it though. Now,
Absolutely.
is one of those
But
names?
considering it doesn't mean acquiescing to white supremacy. Considering
correct,
it
correct.
is understanding the ground that you're
exists.
playing on.
Right.
The,
Right.
the answer to your original question is, is it happening? Yes. The
Right.
answer to the second question is, do I consider it in naming my child? Yes. But I don't take my child, all my
Right.
children, their last name is Muhammad.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Minister Farrakhan gave me that name.
Mhm.
So everybody connected to me from here on out, they're gonna be Muhammad. They're gonna be identified as like, oh, they're with them folk that got with Farrakhan. They're gonna know what that is. So anything that comes with that, I take all that with it. And
Right.
the main thing is, it's like, just like with a Barack Obama, during the time period that he grew up in, you know what I'm saying? He went by Barry.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Then at a certain point, he said, fuck that. I'm going into
See,
American politics.
Right.
Now,
Hold
but
on.
listen to this stuff. Okay,
Finish
go ahead.
it.
And I got
Because
something.
he went into American politics. He ain't going to American politics as Barry. He went into
Right.
American politics as Barack Obama.
Barack Obama, right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Now,
Kind of like
and I
Osama
think-
bin Laden.
I think that.
And he let his work speak for him. Like, yo, y'all
Well,
gonna have to deal with this name.
I think the difference is also in his case though, when you're talking about dealing with constituents, and he's in Chicago, his constituents were black, so therefore, he got to. Let me finish this thought. So he, from the south side of Chicago, the people that were going to put him in office were black folk. So him using that name is not going to prevent him. Right. Okay. Right. It's not going to prevent him. Let me finish my thought. Let me finish my thought. Him having that name is not going to prevent him from getting his foot in the door, and then he can let his work speak for himself. But like you said,
he had to change. He didn't always go by Barack though.
No.
But when he decided to run, when he ran for senator, he ran for senator as Barack Obama,
and he had to win over white folks to get that senator seat.
Okay, right, but initially, when he first went in, he went and to get he was a community organizer. Barack Obama, he won. Hear me out. He won the trust of the people of the people where he lived, the South Side of Chicago. They moved him up. He won he lost. I think he lost maybe one or two times, and then he won the senator seat eventually. But by that time, he had already been known in that area. But this is what I want to say regarding the subject. As time goes on, though, that becomes, those names become, the culture changes. So that's going to happen. That's inevitable because, the browning of society, dreads are accepted now, whereas they weren't before. So that's going to happen. And I think what you did, E, is interesting. Like you said, you considered it, you found a workaround. Frankly, that I didn't think about. Okay, then you can address it. You did both. You said, okay, I'm gonna give you two names, and you choose to use them. You said you use one for the birth certificate. What is? It's not even important. You say one for the birth certificate, and one for you to move around and use as you see fit. That's interesting. But lastly, I'll say it was considered. You considered it.
Again, consideration isn't acquiescing.
Agreed.
It isn't buckling under, oh shit, they're gonna say something about your name.
Agreed.
And sometimes you have to play the game. Right. You have to play their game.
It's not even playing the game. The name that's on the birth certificate for my oldest child, because my other children, they just got the one name.
Right.
And you have to make it out however you make it out with your name.
Right.
But the name that's on the birth certificate, it wasn't like, Jill or no dumb shit like that.
I got you.
You know what I mean? It's still a name that you don't know who you're dealing with.
Right.
If you use that name, you don't know whether, because actually the name that we chose is more so for the aspect you don't know if it was a man or a woman by the name. And you don't know what race. It's a name that it exists in different cultures.
Right.
You don't know if it's a white person, black person, Asian person, or a Latino person. Right?
Yeah.
Because again, this was back in 1993. And I didn't know where the country was going to go.
Right.
I didn't know how someone would have to maneuver.
Right.
So, because my name at the given
run
time,
by Mexicans.
huh?
Jose, right?
Exactly. It could have been anything. So my point in that thing is, education is giving a person the tools that they need to work with the situation that they're dealing with.
Right.
Giving a child an Anglo name is not going to help them no more.
They can't
read.
Right.
Because a matter of fact, I know for a fact when I show up with the name Muhammad, people fall back, white and black.
Well, see, but the thing is also, as you just finish your thought.
Because it's an aspect of you don't know, like, bottom line is trying to worry about white supremacy when you are a black person, right? I teach my children, we don't go, oh shit, they go white supremacy. It's like, oh, there go white supremacy.
There it is. Right. Yeah.
Because there's no way stepping around it. You step to that shit.
That's right. All right, Nike, you had something? You had something?
So that's it. Step to it.
But I kind of forgot.
You got it. All right. I was just like I said, and the fact that, like the article said, whatever that percentage was, I think it was like the 10% of the time they found that the people with those ethnic names, 10% of the 10% of the times they didn't get that call back, shows that, and it's unfortunate that, kind of what somebody said earlier, that if that's something that can be used to hold someone back or prevent giving them the call or whatever.
I do remember what I do remember my thought.
It's a mentality, right? Yeah.
I do remember my thought now.
Okay, go ahead.
So I work in the corporate world, right? And I've actually seen where sometimes certain names or certain people
or schools or area codes,
right? They get scrutinized to a different degree. You know what I mean? And but even with the African or like the so-called black names or African names or whatever, it's always gonna be something, right? You know what I mean? It's all, whether it's the name, whether it's how you
the school
walk,
you went to,
whether it's how you dress, where you live. It's always going to be something that they can disqualify or they think they can disqualify you for.
Right. I mean, in the bottom line. Go ahead.
And here's another thing. So what chaps my ass is the fact that they love us. They love us so they hate us so much, right? But they love our culture. They love the way our swag. They love our music. They love everything about us. They try to emulate us, but claim they hate us.
Well, I mean, but we all know, that it's fear. It's fear, and
fear
so
and dick envy.
So if the thought is that there's a ascending power and they're not in it, then you do things that you do what you think you can to prevent that ascension, and again, that's not to say it's right, but that's reality. All right, so y'all ready to move on, man? You had another thought, E?
Just one last thought.
All right.
That whole mentality of worried about that sort of thing is still based on the fear thing.
That's right.
We got to get over that fear.
You're talking about our fear.
Our fear.
Right,
we're consistently, because of course, white people going to be fucking white people. That's what they're going to do.
But what fear?
The fear is because what ends up happening is if the statistics say that if you got a black name or a fact that I know you from the hood and 10% of those applications will get turned away, what's the unspoken thing is, oh, for my kid to get ahead, I'm not going to name my child no black name. That's fear of being black in America. Assimilate as much as possible. That's the message in that.
Actually, that goes back,
and that's fear.
That goes back to what we said in the last conversation, that when when you think you're a victim, you become a victim. You become a victim. So yeah, that kind of spills over to that.
Power again.
Pick up your power, right? All right, so we got two more, and we got switching versus snitching versus reporting, and the further effects of COVID.
I'm telling.
I'm telling.
Yeah, let's go with that one. Let's go. All
right, okay. Yo, do it in my neighborhood. Do it in my neighborhood. All right. Listen, this is where this came from.
West Philly.
I'm telling. When you say West Philly,
West Philly.
I'm dealing with the popo now.
This is where this came from.
But see, there you go, right there. That's our thinking.
This is where it came from.
Right.
We always talk about snitching, the term snitching. I'm not a snitch. I don't want to say anything. I'm not doing this. I'm not snitching. As I've said on numerous occasions, and again, I'm consistent with the way that I think. I think that if you think you're a victim, you're a victim. My philosophy is you do something, you move. When you see the people causing havoc, you do something. And I started thinking about it. Could it be one of the reasons why it's so ingrained in us not to react is because of that term snitch? What would happen if we rephrase that? If the same way we talked about getting rid of the N-word, if we rephrased being a snitch with no, I'm not snitching, we're just reporting crimes, would that help at all? What's in the name? Is that a part of it? Is it a part of being labeled as a snitch that prevents us from taking more of an active role in the goal of in our community?
Let's look at the first part of that, the aspect of reporting crime. Because the problem with the relationship is who we got to report the crimes to. The body that we so-called have to report the crimes to is a body that we already don't have a good relationship with and we don't trust to do the right thing.
Okay.
All right. So if they're, but we deal with them out of when we have to.
Necessity, right? Out of necessity.
And the thing is, and it's not even that's always going to get us what we need to get.
Correct.
So if we're not going to, because the whole point of reporting a crime is to maintain peace and civility in your living environment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And because if somebody broke into my house and my neighbor saw who did it, and that person who broke into my house lives across the street, I would hope I have a good enough relationship with my neighbor that my neighbor's going to tell me, like, yo, that nigga across the street did that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but we get so into the non-snitching thing that we're conflicted. Like, damn, I saw him do that, but I don't. I should mind my business. I ain't no snitch. So we get into this non-snitching thing when, as we've discussed 1,100,000 times, the whole non-snitching thing was a code amongst criminals.
Right. Correct.
Right.
And
let's break down what the actual non-snitching thing came from.
Among revolutionaries.
Right.
Let's break down the two sides.
Right.
Criminals. If I'm robbing a bank with you, then it's a code there.
Right.
That's where that
so if we all doing the same thing, you know what I mean, and one of us get caught,
you can't go
try to eat that because we already agree. We're agreed in this space that this is what we do.
But this is the question, though.
Likewise, revolutionaries. So certain people were sent in amongst revolutionaries to be the person that told the quote unquote authorities like the FBI or the police the activities of the revolutionary organization. They sent snitches among the revolutionary posing as a revolutionary.
But okay, let me stop there. We're gonna
the activity. That's what snitching is.
Now wait a minute. But are you coming up, Nike? I don't want to lose focus on the actual question as far as the topic. Is it if we can reframe reframe the whole thing from snitching to just reporting or being active or something like that. If we can get rid of that word, will that make a difference? You know, can we rebrand it? Go ahead, Knight.
Over time, snitching has actually mutated from what
that's what he just said.
It's supposed to have meant, right?
Absolutely.
So snitching was more like, well, like you said, with the revolutionaries, right? You don't want nobody, you know, bringing in no outside sources because you don't know who they are. You know, they could be FB, you know what I mean? They could be anybody, law enforcement or whatever. And also, it was for, like you said, criminals. So if we, all three of us, do some sort of crime and E gets caught, well, we expect E to keep his mouth shut because us three did this crime together. So that snitching has mutated into when we see Johnny down the block, you know, bang somebody in the head or kill somebody, you know, we looking like that's in our neighborhood. That's different. You know what I mean? That's another black body. You know what I'm saying?
Now somebody said if it affects me or my family or my well-being and children, I'm telling. And that's what I'm saying. I'm telling. But again, if we were to stop talking about snitching as it relates to our communities now, and it became more a matter of don't worry about thinking about snitching. If you see crime, report it. Will that make a difference?
Now I like this comment by True Voice X.
Go ahead, Knight.
We have neighborhoods, not communities. We only care about our immediate circle of family and friends.
That's
Until
true.
we care about everybody in the community, we're not justified in calling everyone brother and sister.
That's
totally
but the root of that is, and going back to what Stacey's saying, like the first thing starts with having an ideal in your head of what you're trying to protect. Just like True Voice X said, and the person said before that, they actually kind of said the same thing. But because most of us will say if it affects me or my family or my children well-being, then I'm telling.
I'm involved.
I'm not getting involved. But what we don't understand is if it happened down the street, that affects you, your family, and your children's well-being.
And that should be considered family too.
Exactly. So the thing is, I'm of the spirit of, because you're going to call it what you want to call it. Because if I'm telling, I'm not calling this snitching. Only those who bought into that mentality is calling this snitching. So what has to happen is, one, like I said in the outset, it's like I'm about forcing, and this goes back to that aspect of voting and all that sort of thing. I'm about forcing the police to do their damn job, right? Because what happens out here in these streets, we're not what we should be to do our own community policing. We're far from that at this point. I'm from the ilk because I've done community policing, and I'm from
that's
the
what we should be doing though.
But we're so far away from that. We don't even understand what that entails. We don't. Most of us don't have the moral fortitude to do community policing. That's a whole other animal. So the thing
some
is,
of us do. There's some of us out here that
I know there's
that.
some of us, but it's not enough of us. Like I'm saying, because again, people think community policing is being able to walk around and step in this shit. It's a whole lot deeper than that. Because all you get into at that point is on some vigilante shit.
Confrontation.
And it's gonna be you fighting people in your own neighborhood.
And that won't work.
You live down the
you have
street.
to have a relationship with your community. You have to have a relationship with your community first of all in order to
that relationship got to extend to community representatives, district representatives,
and the police.
And you got to have that respect. You got to have that respect too.
Absolutely. Well, that's why they call it a community. It's a community.
Exactly.
So community.
So the thing is, many of us, we got this ambivalence towards the police as we should, based on the relationship that we have. But because of where we live and what happens in our neighborhood, we gotta force these people to do what needs to be done by us,
which is their job. That's right. Now, somebody said, well, I'm not outside enough to report crime. Now, I tend to believe that you don't have to be outside to report crime. I mean, we all know as we move around, unless we're just have no relationship with the community at all. We all hear about what's going on. And my philosophy is, again, it's a matter of doing something. It's a matter of committing to taking some type of action, even if it's not picking up the phone and dialing the number. Is letting someone know, because
say something, right?
See something, say something. And again, it doesn't necessarily mean saying something directly to the police. There are other ways to do it. You could tell me, I'll call them, you know, because what I'm saying is,
the only thing about the police too, Stace, is people are hesitant to call the police because of the way
I get that, Nike. I get that,
and the way.
See, but Terry, but not calling gets us where we are now. So as the saying is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's like saying everything is cool now. No, people are out there. It is broke. So something has to change. We can't keep doing what we're doing.
And the first thing that changed goes back to the aspect of our power, because looking at all these comments,
absolutely,
all these comments are saying the same isolated thing. Well, it ain't me. It ain't my circle of friends.
It's all of us.
You know, my family.
And that's the bad thing that has happened to the black community.
Right.
Over the years.
And my thing is, like, where I live, because it's like, you know, I work to make sure on my block and the surrounding blocks and throughout the city, throughout everywhere I go and throughout the world. Right. My mentality is we got to grow. Exactly. Right. We got to grow into a collective. Right. I care about you. Right. You care about me.
That's right.
Because my biggest issue with a lot of crimes happen a lot of times in the very neighborhood that the criminal lives in. The criminal and the victim, 9 times out of 10, a lot of times in our neighborhood live in the same neighborhood. Right. Most of the time. So a person, let's say someone is selling drugs. Most cats are selling drugs in their own neighborhood.
That's right.
And they go home, somebody lets them come in and sleep at night.
Right.
Somebody knows that's the neighborhood drug dealer.
Now, this is what the neighborhood drug dealer, my man. I don't care as much.
And again, this ain't just coming at the drug dealers and things that we think we got to do to get ahead.
Right.
But at the same time, it's our overall attitude towards
our community,
and what we accept.
Right, and what we accept.
A lot of dumb
That's
shit
where unity comes in.
Now, this person Now listen to this. This is what
over and over. That's where unity comes in. If our communities don't have unity, we don't have.
It's power. Not a community. Then it's not a community.
And that's
right.
That's the thing.
That's the breakdown, right? Now somebody said, which I agree with, kind of saying what he said. If my kid/family member is wrong, I'm turning them in. If they don't fess up, if you see the wrong and say, say nothing, then you're an accessory to this event. And that's right. Now I will say this, because let's be honest. If your kid is the one, I'm gonna say something to that person first. But that's still playing an active role. You can't turn your head and act like you don't know that. What you say, E?
That's telling, right? And I ain't gonna turn your son into the cops. Right. I'm gonna go talk to him first myself.
I'm gonna talk to you.
Right.
I know what you're doing.
Then I'm gonna go talk to your mother. I'm telling you, I'm telling your mother, right?
That's right.
That's exactly what we're missing in our communities.
But
right there.
But as this person said, though, it first starts with the when you know that it's happening, you have to make a commitment to say something. You just and I think again, this is why we are where we are now. We play the victim, we allow it to happen, so it perpetuates itself. It gets worse, and then now it's totally broken. So all right, so y'all ready for this last one?
It's not unfixable.
It is not unfixable.
All we have to do is come together.
Absolutely.
I know it sounds like impossible, but it really ain't that hard.
And listen, now what you just said is the bottom line. You don't gotta fix the whole community, just fix you.
Fix who you can reach.
I'm not even saying that, Nike. No, I'm not even saying that. What I'm saying is, what this person just said, when you see something happening, you say something. Now, don't worry about what Stacy's doing, because if we all did our part, we wouldn't be here. The problem is everybody else is waiting for somebody else to do something. No, you do.
All we got is the first thing right now. If everybody just commit to the first thing. Just change your attitude towards
your attitude
before you do anything. Just think to yourself, say, you know what? What's going on around me? I got to do my part. If you say it to yourself, that starts you on the road to do your part.
And it's contagious.
I should do something. Say that.
Because if you do that, it's contagious. Once you do that, other people will start. Because like when we first started this podcast, I told you in October, when I came here, they were racing their cars up the street, and I caught. They haven't been back since. They haven't been back since. They, you know, again.
That's what it takes. You
know,
we were just clowning you about it, but hey, if that's what it
listen,
takes, that's what
I'm
it takes.
telling. Don't.
I'm
let
personally
me see it.
not one to call the
You're
police.
not snitching. Is that what you're saying?
No, it is not. It has nothing to do
You
with
part of the
snitching.
problem. Man.
Until no.
I got you. I know that. I know that.
And until the police, until I feel the police are acting in an appropriate manner to our people,
Right.
I would rather speak to the young man or the young woman myself.
Agree. That's good. That's
I
cool
agree.
too. That's cool too. It's nothing wrong with that.
You should do that first.
You should do that
Right.
first.
Do that
Absolutely.
first.
Right.
All right.
Right.
So the last topic. The further effects of COVID. All right, we coming to you, man.
Come to
What are
me.
your thoughts?
What about it?
Yeah. What are you-
I don't know nothing about no COVID.
Wait a minute, but I thought when we were talking about how now they're allowing the teachers to come back. Is it someone mentioned that they thought that it was wrong, the fact that they're allowing the people to come back from isolation after 5 days? That was a conversation I thought we had. No?
Yeah.
That's and then a
definitely
possible third shutdown or something crazy, or like.
I mean,
think that's what
again,
we're talking.
I'm convinced, like I said in the beginning, part of the government's control, right? Think about yourself as a parent, right? As a parent, your job is to keep your children with a cool head.
That's right.
If my son fell down the steps and I see his leg twist behind his head, first thing I'm telling him, like, no, you good, you all right. I'm in control of the situation. I know what to do. Even if I don't know what the fuck to do, I have to make sure he's good.
That's right.
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 And that's what the government does. If this COVID thing came out of nowhere, they're trying to understand it as they're working on it.
Absolutely.
So first they're going to say, how many days you think they should quarantine? Yeah, keep them away from each other 14 days. Keep them away 14 days. Maybe not 14 days, maybe 7. Shit, we need his money. Tell them 5. You know, we need them back to work.
Money.
So they don't necessarily know. Yeah. And they're thinking about the economy.
Well,
so
so that's where the topic came up at.
Okay.
If you remember, we were talking about the food shortages and the shortages of resources. And remember, they still have they got more ships piled up in the coast of California. And if you look, especially down here, I was what was it, yesterday? We went to the supermarket because it was supposed to be like snowing down here, and they get crazy. I don't know what it is. Down in North Carolina, they get crazy.
They're not used to
have like an inch of snow, and everybody lose their mind. But when we went into the store, because I just needed some other shit, I went into the store, and I'm looking. The shelves is like not empty, but not looking like a high end supermarket. You know what I'm saying? So,
now I think E touched on something that we have to remember. We have to remember and consider. This thing here, this position that we find ourselves in now with this endemic, it's only been 2 years. So only 2 years, yeah. So when you talk about the life of a virus, out of all this time, I mean, 2 years is not a long time. I mean, we've been getting vaccinated, I mean, since what, the 30s with the measles and the mumps and all that kind of stuff. So those vaccinations have been here for eons. I mean, very long time. Let me finish my thought. Let me finish this thought. Let me finish this thought. So 2 years in, E, what you said is absolutely right. We're learning as we go. So I have an expectation that as we find out new things, they're going to be pumping it out almost daily, because you have science laboratories all around the world, not just the country, around the world, doing different tests, doing different things, running different models. They're updating those medical journals daily. So as they learn new things, because in the beginning, it was a fact, okay, which I agree with. There's a disease out there that's killing people. They're getting flu-like symptoms and they're dropping like flies. Okay, you know what? We know that it's spread by people coughing. Everybody got to stay in the house. Do I like it? No. But the government's first responsibility is to protect its citizens. foreign and domestic. So if there's a green virus out there that's killing everybody by you coughing, I need everybody to stay in their homes unless you need to go to the supermarket or to the doctor. Now, as we test this virus and we find out, oh, okay, wait a minute, if they wear a mask, then that'll help a little bit. Okay, everybody wearing masks. So again, I say all that to say, this is still a new virus, and there has to be. We have to. We have to give the science community room to learn what we're dealing with and the appropriate actions to take as a result of those findings.
But at the same time, Stace,
That sounds
it's
pretty
like,
good too.
yeah, sounds great. But at the same time, you know, given the history of our scientific community, our governmental community, if you will, you know, they also have a duty to be forthright and tell the truth.
Right. True.
So the thing is, this government is used to deceiving the people in the name of not causing a panic, to appear like they know more than they do. And I don't put it beyond, you know, because I'm kind of with some of the conspiracy theorists, you know what I mean? Because Henry Kissinger wrote this thing of like a few decades ago about, you know, the depopulation of the planet and different things that they could do. And one of those things was to have biological weapons in the form of
look at the Davos agenda.
Exactly. So these things are real. So I wouldn't put it past this government to be doing these things in the name of whatever, and even with the so-called jab in the arm, you know what I mean? They may be giving us something else. I don't know that either. But having said all of that, it's still in the aspect of like, you know, yeah, you know, we will give them more of a. Let's not act like a lot of the choices that are being made are telling people to go back to work, and because you know they're letting healthcare workers, first responders, to go back to work even if they have COVID.
No. What they said is what they said. No. Let me say something.
They don't have the
ain't it my turn? Ain't it my turn?
Right.
They don't
Okay.
have the symptoms, but if they have COVID, they could be test positive for COVID. They can go back to work.
You read that? You saw that?
I saw it on the news. That was just on the news.
Go ahead, Nike.
Right.
Go ahead,
and
Nike.
I don't know if you guys saw this. Fauci's emails was leaked or hacked or whatever, and in the emails it shows where he identified one of the proteins and one of the nucleotides. I ain't no scientist, but in that email, it says where he says it's impossible for these two proteins to have gotten into whatever it needed to get into at the same time in order to cause that mutation of the first virus that came out from Wuhan. So he's saying now in that email, that's telling me that this was a created virus.
See, I mean, I gotta be honest. I was looking at something else, so I didn't read that. I didn't catch what you were saying.
To find it,
you know, I mean, but, you know, again, I mean, can I sit here and say that that's not the case? But again, as we said before, unless somebody can, you know, especially when you start talking about somebody's emails being leaked and all that other kind of nonsense, that's what
nonsense though.
Because like
email.
The thing is well, first of all, you're in IT and somebody telling you I got to print out of Stacy's email. What? I mean, you know what I mean?
That is, Stace? That's easy.
No, but what I'm saying is but it is, but it's also easy to say, yeah, Terry, this is Stacy's email and it could be somebody else's. I mean, I'm not saying, Terry, I'm not saying that it's impossible.
That's true with anything,
but listen, it is. But I'm saying that we can't take stuff like that and run with it as if it's fact. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not running with it. I'm just telling you
what you heard, what you read somewhere.
What I heard.
What you okay? Now, all right. But you know, but I just think that now I didn't see when the thing that E mentioned. I heard that they were talking about individuals that are asymptomatic and not showing symptoms can return to work after 5 days because the science showed that.
I'm just saying, being clear, not that. I said healthcare workers who have tested positive for COVID.
Okay, now I didn't hear that. So I
ain't gonna just make up shit. I just saw it on the news. I'm like, damn, that's crazy.
That's what I'm trying. I was trying to look it up, so I missed
like,
it.
If I tell you I heard something on the news, or if I heard something, like, don't tell me I'm a liar or I'm
I didn't say that.
Conspiracy theorist. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm
telling you
what you heard, right?
That the media is telling everybody else.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So I mean, what
yeah. Well, that's why I said
I can't say.
I was trying to look it up.
I can't sit here and say no, they lying.
Right.
I mean,
right.
They could be, but what, you know what I'm saying?
And the other thing, now I'm gonna say this.
Let me see now, Stacey.
Say it again. Okay. Now what I was gonna also say is that now again, not hearing that story, there is a balance that we have to strike though, because we still have to, we live in a capitalist society. Well, no, let me scratch that. We live in a society where we all need goods and services.
You said it right.
So, it was, but I took that off because somebody would have took that and ran with it. So I got rid of that.
No, but that's what it is. It's because it's a capitalist society. That's why it's being done.
But listen, but what my point is that we still live in a society where we all need goods and services. So therefore, we still need to bring product to market. So we still have to figure out. Listen, let me finish my thought. No. Let me finish my thought.
All right, go ahead.
So with that being said, though, we still have to figure out how to walk that fine line between the public health and also making sure that the society still functions. What that fine line is, I don't know. We have to take science into consideration, but we have to consider both at the same time. I'm listening.
Right. So the thing is, listen to what you said, because you maybe should run for office because you sound like these politicians, bro. In the sense of we're talking about health of the people. Yes?
Yes.
We're talking about people's lives because people are dying from this. Yes?
Correct. Yes.
So the steps that we take, right? It has to be human life over economic.
Agreed. I don't disagree with that.
Now the thing is, you don't sacrifice human life in the
for
name
commerce.
of economics.
I agree with that.
Unless you are these murderers that thought it was okay to enslave people. These murderers that, because it's a bad thing.
It is. Right? I agree.
So there are, it's clear as day for, because like Biden said, he said he's doing everything in his power that we don't have another shutdown, right? Not because then the numbers are going up, COVID cases are going up,
right?
But only because of the economy. Because a shutdown, if we would have shut down like we were supposed to, like other countries did, just straight shut down early. You know what I mean? You would have more time to get rid of this thing. But this country took a long time to shut down because of economic reasons. We didn't want to shut down the country.
No, that's not it though. We can't even get people to wear masks though. You have 40% of the country. You have 40% of the country that, first of all, you still have some people that don't think it's real, and I'm sure you agree with that. You know that there are people out there.
We're not talking about what people think. We're talking about
what I'm saying is, but my point is that
we're way over right now.
Okay, we're gonna close it. We're gonna wind it down.
Continue this.
We're gonna wind it down. I just want to say this last thing. I just want to say this last thing. Okay. I'm gonna say this last thing. We still have a big block of the country that don't think that this thing is real. So we can't even get some of them to wear masks. So
that has nothing to do with the law.
All right. We're going back and forth now.
Wow. So in other words, you're saying so they should have just forced it. Period.
Absolutely, like other countries did, and to save human life, other countries just shut down.
Okay, I don't have a problem with that.
And they got over it a whole lot quicker than we did.
I agree with that.
Because of economic reasons, we've been slowly shutting down. We've been half shutting down. So many hundreds of thousands died that we had to shut down.
Right.
And we opened back up, not because cases are better, but for economic reasons.
Well, the cases were better when we opened them. The cases were getting better. They went down
they didn't get better enough.
E, look at the numbers. E, you gotta look at the numbers.
That's why we got to
Listen,
right now.
I'm gonna say this last thing, and then I'm gonna stop.
You notice they stopped reporting the numbers as often as they used to.
Wait a minute. Okay. Last summer, before this, the Delta variant and this other one, Omicron, came up, the numbers were going down, and they started opening things back up. Now you could argue it was too early.
Right after.
But you could argue that it was too early. But the numbers were going down. Things were getting better. Everybody was getting the vaccinations, etc. So they didn't reopen it. The country didn't reopen in the height of this thing. That did not happen.
I didn't say it happened at the height. What I'm saying is
the numbers
weren't significantly down enough.
Now you can say that. You can disagree with whether it was significant enough.
They said the only reason that we opened back up,
we had to get
the economy popping.
Okay. All right.
And your president said he's not going to do another shutdown.
Who?
Your president, the one you voted for. The one you voted
for. Wait, but which one did you vote for? Don't answer that. Don't answer that. I said, which one did you vote for? Don't answer
that. Win.
Oh, E, you better not. Hey, E, you better not. You better not have voted for the one in Florida. All right, but anyway. All right, y'all. It's time to wind this thing down. All right, E, in closing, man, what you got?
Hey, black people, believe in yourself, man. Absolutely. And stop thinking it's cool to have a boogeyman while you can't do what we need to do for us. We are the power.
That's right. Okay, Nike, what you got, man?
Well, I kind of agree with that, but we are only the power if we exhibit that power. Like if we don't use it, then we don't have power.
Nice. Okay. Nice. All right.
Yo,
and I'm gonna take
I just want to thank everybody for tuning into our digital neighborhood.
Yeah, like
damn.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Nike. Go ahead.
What happened?
I'm listening.
I just wanted to thank everybody for joining our digital neighborhood, and I just want to have everybody that can hear my voice, go to RealBrosLive.com/black-dollar-blackout. Check out what we got going there. Remember, love is the new black, and we like to see you in our digital neighborhood again.
Nice,
all right,
nice.
That's all I got.
All right, and again, I echo what both of my brothers said. E, thanks for being a guest host. It's a pleasure as always, man.
Thank you for having me,
Grill Soul, check them out, y'all. Grill Soul,
yeah.
Grill Soul. But I like to say again what Terry said. Thank everybody for your comments. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed us. We hope we sparked some thought, some conversation. And don't forget to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube, because it helps helps us to keep this thing going. And we look forward to seeing you, talking to you. Brenda, we got to work on you getting on. We're gonna fix this thing so you can get on next time. But thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Word. All right.